whenever I've made a business, I've always been in the mindset of like, okay, I'm going to solve a problem, which I know is going to create another problem for them. If you don't have any internal beliefs and you're fine with spending money and investing to like, speculate to accumulate sort of thing, you've got the guarantee behind it. If we don't get at you anyway, which we've never not done, you'll get your money back. So if you don't go ahead with it and you actually believe it will get you to that point, that's just pure fear objection there. That's an internal belief that obviously when it comes to sales, realistically, the real thing they want is actually to be ranked on Google.
All right. What is everybody? We've got Oliver from Recur on today. We were actually just kind of shooting the shit before we started recording. And I was like, bro, we got to shut up. We got to press record. We got to dive into this. And so I talked to Oliver months ago. He had gotten in his community. He was seeing some success and his business model has changed kind of pretty drastically since then. And he's absolutely killing it. So for anybody who doesn't know who you are, Oliver, or what Recur is, tell us a little bit about your backstory, about how you got started, and then we'll dive into how it's kind of evolved.
Yeah, for sure. So my name's Ollie. I've been in the sort of business world for I'd say around 10, 11 years now. Done sort of multiple businesses, was involved in a lot in music production businesses sort of for several years before obtaining the skills to make my own marketing agency, whatnot. Went down the whole SMMA route. And then that was more so with Facebook ads and stuff like that. Massive headache. Sort of transitioned more into when I saw Qlik and obviously the review side of things, the automation side of it really appealed to me. And obviously my background being in more ads and stuff like that, I found quite quick success with it, to be honest. I forget the actual proper details of it, but we started, I think I saw you in I want to say it was December last year, and I was like, man, that's a really smart little business model. So I implemented it, I think it was late January or the start of February when I was in your school community.
Yeah.
And I think the first month we only got a couple clients or something. But I remember putting that post in the school group with you. We got to over 50 plus clients in the space of, I don't even know how many months it was. It was a couple months. I want to say 3 months.
Yeah, it was quick.
It's been crazy. So yeah, we quickly scaled past the 10K per month mark with that. And we landed quite a lot of multiple sort of long-term retainer deals. So there was, obviously I can't speak on proper details on that, but there was a particular company we signed a 12 month rolling contracts with across about 10 different locations with 6 more to be added.
Wow.
So they're still with us today, obviously. But yeah, I don't know how much of an intro do you want me to give you? I don't really know how much.
That's amazing. I wanted to say you kind of popped out of nowhere because you're kind of the definition of a lurker in school.
Yeah.
Those people are commenting and asking questions and posting about it or whatever. And all of a sudden he just posted and you're like, I got 50 customers in 3 months. And I was like, bro, I need to talk.
I was in the shadows.
Well, I love it. Okay. So how'd you land that big contract?
Purely ads. So every single client we got was I'd say it was around 80% of them came from ads. The rest came from referrals. When I implemented more of a system in place to get those referrals, once we were getting them really good results, we had obviously a system in place where we go ahead and speak with them, make sure everything's doing okay, and then if there was any opportunity for a referral there, we did similar to you in that respect, where we give them some level of incentive, a free month. And they love that. People lap that up. So but yeah, that specific one with the retainer came from an ad. It was just a 30-minute sales call, went into one location, got them amazing results, then expanded to 3 locations, got them amazing results, and then they were like, we need this across the board. And then got the deal done, basically.
I love it. Okay, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you were pretty niched, right? You were working, go ahead.
Yeah. So, I mean, at the start, we were just sort of going for, I was just putting it out there really to see because we're obviously from the UK, right? I wanted to see sort of, different niches, which ones were going to churn faster, which ones would churn slower, which ones would feel like it's more of a necessity. Because a lot of the businesses that we worked with, we had a bit of a churn issue where we were working with businesses, we would get this peak in terms of reviews, their base reactivation. And then it would sort of roll off into, obviously that, how many customers they're getting. Then it turned into less of a wow, that's so amazing. You got us all these reviews at the start. And now we're consistent. It's okay, why am I not getting as many reviews? So then I had to shift back to setting expectations right on the onboarding call, dialing in the niche a bit. So it wasn't so much of a big problem. They were just happy that they were getting consistent reviews.
Yeah.
So then we after doing a lot of searches and working with a lot of different industries, we started to double down on dentists and other healthcare related services that, for them, for example, getting a lot of Google reviews for a dentist is much more impactful as opposed to a hairdresser in terms of the revenue that can bring. They could sell a dental implant for 5K, 2K, whatever. or like a all on four, they call it. I don't know what they call it in the US. That can cost anywhere from like 10 to 15K, which could easily be purchased because they've got amazing reviews.
Yeah.
So that's like that was like the progression of what we went through at least, and then sort of like progress from there.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I remember the last call we had, you were talking about that, and we are talking about setting expectations. And that's funny because it really hasn't been an issue with us. I think, we tell them review reactivation, you get a lot of reviews, and we haven't really struggled with churn after. I think it still happens. It definitely still happens. People, want to see that boost and like, all right, I'm done, I'm out. But for the most part, it's not an issue. But you kind of have now taken a different approach. Business has changed a lot. So how's the business changed since the last time we talked, just doing reviews?
Yeah, I mean, if we start with just the review side, so because of how fast we scaled, I hired an appointment setter and hired a closer as well for that, who was paid on commission per like trial. They obviously got through the door and then it converted. That was great because then I could sort of take myself away from the sales calls literally within a few months, which I was really happy about because I'd done over like 100 by that point, and it was like, oh my God, I can't repeat another word of this thing. So I got it to that point, and that was really good. It was going really well. And then I think for me it was just like, okay, we've got a lot of clients now, and the admin wasn't too much, to be honest. It was just the churn rate, particularly in the UK. Like the US clients that we worked with weren't bad. It was UK clients with, I don't know what it is about us, we don't like spending money.
Okay.
So if there's any way to save a bit of money, the UK person is going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that got me like super frustrated. I was like, man, like the lifetime value of my customer is just not enough. So I was like sort of looking into ways. I've always been whenever I've made a business, I've always been in the mindset of like, okay, I'm going to solve a problem, which I know is going to create another problem for them. I need to be able to solve again. That creates another problem that I need to be able to solve again. So for us, the next natural progression was, obviously we got you a bunch of reviews. That's great. Really happy a client. But realistically, the real thing they want is actually to be ranked on Google. Like getting you reviews is obviously going to get you chosen somewhat. But if you're ranked in the third page, it's, do you know what I mean? That's like the next natural progression, at least I saw.
Yeah.
So I've got quite a lot of background in like SEO and all that sort of stuff. So we started to upsell all of our clients into essentially getting them into the top 3 on Google Maps in 90 days, or they don't pay. So I noticed there was quite a bit of a gap in the market for that, because a lot of the companies that are advertising, we'll get you in the top 3, weren't backing it by a results-based guarantee, especially when it's like aligning my incentives with the clients, which the clients absolutely love. And that's, I don't know if that comes from a place of they're not confident in their own results. I have no idea. But I knew we could really help them with that, especially with like the review engine sort of underneath it, constantly getting them reviews. So we sort of transitioned into that being our main offer, upsold a large percentage of our clients from the review side into that side. First month that we did that, we made over $30,000, which is just great. No ad spend on that, just pure upsells. And now it's got to a point where that is something we're heavily pushing in terms of like ads, and really that's the progress of the business right now. And I really want to take it to a point where it's like, okay, now that we've solved this issue for you in terms of, okay, you're top 3 now, you're getting this organic traffic. Well, one of those problems might be, okay, we want more leads now. We're getting good leads, but we want more. So maybe we offer Google Ads there. Maybe we help them, when a lead comes to their website, maybe we help on the conversion of the website side. Maybe their sales system isn't correct, so we could, I don't know, some level of sales mentorship. There's lots of different avenues I could take that. But that's the sort of process for me right now so far. And we've got to about 25K MRR. So really,
awesome.
Really happy with it.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. Okay, so walk us through what it was like. So you're guaranteeing basically top 3 in the first 90 days. How do y'all measure that? Are y'all using a tool like one of the good trackers or something, and saying before and after, here's where you are now, we're going to get you more green? What does that look like?
Yeah, so what we do is we use Local Brand Manager, and we discuss with the client what keywords they want to rank for. And we'll obviously do a load of keyword research behind that as well, to make sure, for one, the keywords they want to rank for are obviously well searched.
Yeah.
For the most part they are, but they're going to miss out certain things that they don't really know. Do you know what I mean? So we do a load of keyword research, and obviously that's discussed with the client, showcase sort of the metrics behind that. And then they're the keywords that we push, and that's all tracked via Local Brand Manager. So when they initially start with us, they will get, we'll run a report on that, and that'll be scheduled every 2 weeks to run a new report. And basically bi-weekly, we just send them a quick video report that they can link to the website. They can check it out. just with the before when they started with us versus that particular week. And then 2 weeks later, it's like before plus that particular week. So they can see the natural like progress basically over time.
Yeah, for sure. No, I love it. And I can feel my shiny object syndrome tingling. Dude, like literally, I did this last November, I think. I don't know what I was thinking, but I hopped on a call. No, it was like last October or September even. But I hopped on a call with somebody and they were like, hey, you made a YouTube video about reviews and you talked about SEO and like all the stuff you said in SEO, I don't want to do. I just want to pay you. And I remember just like sitting there and being like, I don't want to do this. Like I'm just going to give them kind of like a price that, I think is fair for the value, but also a price that I think like it makes it worth it to me. And I think they'll probably say no to. Right. Yeah. And so I think I was like $4,500 or $4,000 or something. And they're like, all right, let's do it. And I was like, God, what? But seriously, I mean, I still have the reports from it. They went from like ranking in their service area, like 15% of the time on the first page to after we went through and did all the things that I'm sure we're about to talk about. Now they're still like, I checked it the other day and they're still like ranking their service area on the first page, 1, 2, or 3, 95% of the time. And since they use Review Harvest, they have like 300 or 400 more reviews than everybody else.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's a no-brainer. That's why I feel like a lot of businesses love it to speak to, is because it's like, why wouldn't you do it? Like, honestly, like if you don't have any internal beliefs and you're fine with spending money and investing to like, speculate to accumulate sort of thing, you've got the guarantee behind it. If we don't get it you anyway, which we've never not done, you'll get your money back. So if you don't go ahead with it and you actually believe it will get you to that point, that's just pure fear objection there. That's an internal belief that obviously when it comes to sales, whole different story. That's, where you'd handle that. But that's why I love it so much, because it's like, I mean, I'm very experienced with it. I know how to sort of delegate it out to the right people as well. I know a lot of people in that sort of industry. So for me, it's like, I don't know why you wouldn't do it. Obviously.
Yeah. Okay. Well, all right. So you signed. So let's talk about a little bit about your transitioning from reviews. You call people, you start upselling. What the heck was that month like? Were you just like light bulb, like life is good?
Yeah, it was just a bit of a crazy month, to be honest. We booked a lot of calls. A lot of people were like, really excited about obviously the opportunity of even getting that in the first place. And then, sort of been chugging along from there, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So you go from selling reviews for a couple $100 a month, like $300 a month, $200 a month, whatever it was, to selling, 3,000 or 4,000. Talk to us about the pricing. Are you kind of doing like big, what do they call it? Long head, big head, long tail, where you're doing like 5K up front and then like a lower monthly retainer, or y'all doing like monthly retainer?
It's just a 3-month retainer rolling.
Okay.
So it can be anywhere depending on the sort of business size, goals, how many keywords you want to target, obviously locations. It can be anywhere from 3 to 6K.
Okay. Gotcha.
Per 3 months, but it's per 90 days essentially.
Yeah. And then so after the 90 days, are y'all trying to get everybody renewed on, hey, we're just going to keep this plucking along, or do you kind of transition to something else, or what's the goal?
Yeah. So essentially, I mean, the way I like to describe it to them is, I mean, it's fairly obvious, but obviously try and describe this to them as best as I can, is like, the majority of things, especially this, are like an input game. If you're not putting the inputs, you're not going to get the output. So just because you get top 3 once, it doesn't mean you're just going to stay there forever. Yeah. If you're not sending like the right signals to Google or like on a regular basis, I mean, yourself how much the algorithm changes and what they value in terms of where you rank. If you don't know what to do with that, you're naturally going to gradually fall out of those positions. So, if I was a business, I'd love it for it to be like a 3-month thing and then that's it. But that's just not the sort of reality. It just rolls over. As long as you want to stay in the top 3 on Google Maps, most businesses do. Yeah, you're gonna stay with us for the most part.
Yeah. Well, and I think that at the very least, you could sell them. You could, at the very least, you could keep them on reviews or whatever sort of conversion mechanisms you set up at the end. Like that's what I talked to Jonathan a couple of episodes ago, and Jonathan would do like uptick, high ticket stuff up front, and then sell them into kind of the $300 a month recurring services of like reviews, chat widget, sending the leads their way, whatever. That's all pretty much automated, and so you kind of get the best of both worlds, where you're getting all the cash up front, not having to deal with the ongoing delivery of like worried about making sure they're in the three pack every single month, but you're still getting a little bit of money there. And so, but that's awesome. I mean, shoot, obviously more money is good money. And if you're providing the value, you're providing the value. But walk us through the onboarding checklist of, hey, they say yes, we're here, we're going to get Google Business Profile set up, X, Y, and Z website. Yeah. Walk us through your process.
Yeah. So to be honest, it's actually pretty simple. It takes, I'd say, 15 minutes to get them onboarded. We get access to the Google Business Profile. We get access to the website to obviously do the on-page and off-page SEO. We get their CRM connected if we can, either through CRM connector. Shout out Twan, Melvin.
That's right.
Or Zapier, or I think you guys call it Zapier. I don't know which one it is, to be honest. It's one of them.
It's I asked them, it's Zapier like happier.
Oh, okay. I have been saying it right then. Okay, cool. Yeah, we connect it by either one of the two, preferably CRM connector. If we can't do either, we have the sort of client success manager that works for me. He has like one of his tasks to do is to just get the customer list from them every week or 2 weeks, monthly, depending on the industry, client, whatever. And then after that, really, it's more about obviously just getting connected on the actual software itself, which doesn't take too long, to be honest, because we have access to their Google Business Profile. We can do it ourselves. If, through CRM Connector, you can obviously send an onboarding link now anyway, which is great. The only thing that we have in the UK, which is a bit different to the US, is Twilio texts are absolutely extortionate over here. I think I had to pay about, I want to say it's nearly 11 cents per text, and that's without the picture. So you can't actually send images in the UK through Twilio because MMS is just not allowed. I used to use WhatsApp, which is amazing. In the UK, everyone uses it, but that also has its limitations. You can easily get blocked. You can easily get a client's account marked as spam, for example. That's a whole other headache I had to go through. And that also extends the onboarding process because you have to have them log into their Facebook. Some people are like, why do you need my Facebook? And it's just a whole mess, basically.
Yeah.
So it is a lot cheaper. It costs like 1.5 pence, I think, per text, but we use a software called Qlik Send. I don't know if you've heard of that. That one's pretty good. Still quite expensive relative to US prices, but it's a lot cheaper than Twilio. So gotcha. I think we pay, you can buy like text in bulk. So obviously you can get a bit of a deal and that integrates straight into GoHighlevel. Nice. But yeah, just as like that was probably a bit long-winded, but it's a short-term answer. It takes about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty easy, to be honest. We just discuss keywords and stuff. It's more of like a Zoom conversation rather than it being like
share your screen.
Yeah, like it used to be like that with the reviews, but then we sort of progressed from there.
Gotcha. Okay, and so what are the big things y'all are hitting on? You don't have to give away all your secret sauce if you don't want to. But now that we talked about this, I'm probably gonna make a video going more into depth in this because it does fire me up. What are the tips to get somebody ranked in the map pack in the top 3 in 90 days?
Tips to rank. Okay, right. I mean, from the Google Business Profile perspective, one of the things that a lot of business owners just don't do well is, and I don't think Google does the best job at really like telling people the weight of this, but it's literally just like the primary category and the secondary categories. You know this yourself. Like, I've seen your videos on it. Like, people just get that really wrong, and sometimes it's not their fault. Like, for example, like a lawyer, they might have like 7 different categories they could choose from, but if they're trying to focus on like a specific type of law and they just have, I forget what the categories even are, to be honest, but they might choose the wrong one that might actually seem to them like the right one, and maybe it is, but if you're not really looking at your sort of competitors and how they're ranking and what their categories are and stuff like that, you can see a bit of a pattern with the top ranking ones and having the same primary categories and secondary categories. So, I mean, that's one of the major ones, to be honest. Obviously, that's not going to, it will give you a boost. Don't get me wrong. It can give you actually quite an exaggerated boost at the start. But yeah, secondary categories is another big one.
Well, and I think like you were talking about with they don't know, it's like the DUI lawyer, injury lawyer, divorce lawyer, all that stuff. Basically, whatever one they make the most money on, or whatever they focus on, or if they type in, what I'll normally tell people is, hey, go to Google and like if you're trying to see what your ideal client's typing in, or if you're trying to see like how well you're ranking, like just go type in whatever you think your customers will type in. Yeah. And they'll be like, all right, and like what are all their main business categories? You know, because then that's the one that you want to be. And it really is, if you also go into like someone that offers multiple services, what I'll ask them is, hey, what is your like top of funnel service that also leads them to your other 3 things? Because like you might have like, plastic surgery that might be like the last thing on the list, but the first thing might be Botox, and then you can get them down that way, and so
exactly,
so much strategy it comes to it.
Yeah, I mean, the categories are a really big what I'm trying to think what some others, some easy wins. There's obviously quite a lot to it, but some easy wins like on the Google Business Profile categories. I mean, obviously having an address on there plays a massive difference. You can still get really, really well ranked if you don't have an address. The way they rank you is really based on proximity. So the closer someone is to your business, the higher you're going to rank. And you can obviously improve your ranking without an address, but it makes it a whole lot easier if they've got some level of foundation that Google can see of like, oh, okay, so you're in X. If someone searches in Y rather than Z, you're going to naturally appear a bit closer to them. Even stuff like opening and closing times. Like a lot of people actually, they don't get it wrong. They actually put their correct opening and closing times. But if you have like a phone line, for example, and you can actually take calls maybe 2 hours earlier, or just hire someone to take calls 2 hours earlier or 2 hours later after you close, you can extend your opening and closing times there and naturally get more of a competitive advantage over competitors that aren't open. Purely because Google is ranking, you got to think of it, like from the consumer's perspective, Google wants them to have the best experience possible. So if you're closed, they're not going to show you. It's just like, it makes sense from that point of view. So if you can like make it so you're as open and your opening hours are as extended as you possibly can, then that's also a really easy win to actually just get more customers in general, to be honest.
For sure. And I think like if you're not a brick and mortar, like why are you not doing that? Right. If you're brick and mortar, you're a restaurant and you say you're open till midnight and you're not.
You're cooked.
But if you're a service area business who serves people, goes to their home or whatever, like wouldn't you rather have the missed call than just not get it at all? And another thing, I mean, I think you'll see sometimes Google automatically update. I don't know, y'all probably dig into this on the website, but like when you make that hours update, like go update it on the website as well. Go update it on Facebook, go update it on Yelp, wherever you need to update it, just so that Google can see some consistency there and they don't just immediately like change it back.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the something as well, we can't really do this in the UK. I know you guys do it in the US. Obviously your name plays a massive part into it as well. A lot of like businesses keyword stuff their name completely illegally. I know in the US you guys obviously do the whole DBA, filing and doing business. You can't really do that in the UK, which is the only annoying part, to be honest, because that can literally change your rankings overnight.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of annoying you can't do that in the UK, so it does take a bit longer to, I mean, I'm not going to lie, if we could do that in the UK, the offer would be like top 3 and 14 days or something like that.
No, it's true. It's absolutely wild how much of a difference that makes. The same person I was talking about before, that was like, we had started doing reviews, we had started doing citations, I had done some on-page stuff, and we had gotten them from like 15% to like 28 or 29%. And it only been like 2 weeks or so, changed the name of their business, and it went to like 80% by the end of the day. Like it was just absolutely insane. And I've done that with so many other people now. And if you're wondering how to do it, there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. That's what he's talking about with the DBA stuff. So don't just like go do it willy-nilly, because it can. Yeah,
definitely don't do it.
That's like a service in itself would be, hey, I'm just gonna make sure your business name.
Hey, that's actually really true. That's a pretty good, like really easy service to do. Not in the UK, in the US.
Yeah.
Don't do it in the UK.
Okay. Well, I guess at the same time though, since you can't do the DBA, that just means it's even more important when you create your name over there in the UK. It kind of levels the playing field. But if you're smart and you're creating your business, add your keywords in there.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, there is like things like trading names and stuff in the UK, but they make it a lot more difficult to just randomly change that.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to like change your bank account name, and then that would have to be your actual name when you're like marketing and stuff like that. So it's just a bit of a headache as opposed to the US side. But like you say, it kind of it's good for me, because then it means you kind of have to have a lot more experience on the SEO side to even be able to rank them in the first place. So it's not too bad.
Yeah, for sure. So gone through Google, some of the main Google business stuff. Now let's talk about some on-page and off-page SEO.
Yeah, for sure. So on the on-page stuff, I mean, when I say like easy wins, they're not really easy wins on the website. I mean, I guess some of them are, because it's not too technical, but it would be stuff like, the general stuff like H1 tags, and the sort of meta title, little things like that. Just really making sure, like, in terms of the actual, the homepage that your Google business profile links to has all, the majority of sort of areas and main keywords that you want to target, either in the H1 or just generally across the page. Internal links, just all that's, I'm not gonna lie, it's really boring, but it does make a difference in terms of the off-page stuff. That's where it gets a bit more like hands-on, really, like citations, the backlinks sort of things, schema stuff that, to be honest, I absolutely hate doing, so I don't do it. We do it. I personally don't do it. Just to clarify.
For sure. Well, like, are you all using a tool for the citation stuff? Are y'all using a vendor, or are y'all?
So with the, I think it's SEMrush One of
Yep.
the I forget what we've used quite a few multiple tools to like sort of make the process a lot easier. You can sort of like try and do it all by yourself. I know you can use like BrightLocal and stuff.
Yeah.
We've always found SEMrush to just be quite easy to integrate into like what we're doing. And yeah, like the team that we've got for sort of running the SEO, that's what they prefer anyway. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to sort of take them and try and push them into a software that
Yeah.
I was initially going to use. I used to use BrightLocal, but yeah, I didn't really want to sort of push them into that if, you know, they were their expertise was sort of elsewhere. They're all kind of the same thing, to be honest. So
yeah, for sure. Well, enough of like, some people are going to be like sitting at home and they're going to be like writing down every single thing you're saying. Like, no, tell me every detail. And then other people are like sleeping, like, all right, tell me about the marketing and sales. So now you're running this top 3 and 90. Are you still pushing ads? Is it still mainly ads to sales calls?
So funnily enough, because I went to America, we actually stopped running the ads for a bit because I wanted to have a bit of time to not take sales calls.
Yeah.
Since I've got back, we're about to start running a whole host of different ads. We used to run a lot of like still images. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever heard of ArcAds.
Yes.
Yeah. So we use them for like AI. Sort of ad creation. We're going to test that. We're going to test obviously a lot of UGC routes, and then just really push that out. That's going to be launching within literally the next few days. I don't know when you plan on uploading this, but within the next few days they should be live. So I'd imagine some people are probably going to funnel hack me, or it's expected. I used to do it, or I still do it even.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it just happens.
It's part of the process.
I used to post in the community occasionally, like, hey, please don't book a demo. Like I please don't do that, because we have so many just like it'll mess up the Facebook pixel and stuff too. You know,
yeah,
it's like,
for sure.
we get 100 people from my YouTube videos that fill out our forums with garbage information. Facebook thinks that it's like, you know,
keep sending them.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's brutal. But I'll just need to make a YouTube video going through the whole thing, and maybe people will start doing it, but probably not. But okay, and so talk to us about the sales call. How are you quoting differently? Are you quoting differently based off of just the competitive area? Like if it's a really competitive area?
Yeah, I mean, there's loads of different things, to be honest. It's based on like general area, how competitive it is, how many keywords they want to target, how many locations they want to have, general revenue, to be honest. A mixture of different things, to be honest. It's kind of hard to like put them onto something without them actually going through the entire sales call and then getting to the price, because we can't really diagnose what we even need to do in the first place. Because if they've got a system where they are actually getting, say for example, one of your clients came to us and they were like, oh no, we really have a good review system. Yeah, it's going to be, the diagnosis is going to be a bit different there, because it's like, okay, well, as long as you continue, we would prefer to control that variable, because it's obviously involved in our guarantee. To, you know, reviews do help get you ranked, but if we can generally see that you are getting really good reviews for the amount of customers you get, the diagnosis there is going to be a bit different. Yeah. So it's kind of like it's based on sort of prospect. I don't want to say prospect per prospect, but it kind of is. Yeah. It really depends on the industry sort of thing.
Yeah. And so we talked to address earlier. Talk to me about addresses. I mean, I think it's one of those things where most business owners, if I was a business owner, a service area business, and I talked to somebody today who has 1,100 reviews in our area, and like the next closest person, they're a client of ours. The next closest person has like 500, and he's a service area business, so he's not ranked. He doesn't have an address listed. He's not as ranking as well as he could, and he has a warehouse already, and he just hasn't taken the time. But even if I was him, and I didn't have a warehouse or something I could listed, I would try and find some freaking office for $150.
100%.
Like, do you all walk people through like, hey, you need to get an address or we won't work with you?
To be honest, a lot of the clients that we work with already have them. We did have one actually recently. They actually got their address approved yesterday, funnily enough. It's like a windows and conservatory company, and they like supply like, you know, conservatory extensions, obviously double glazed windows, all that sort of stuff. They were kind of in the mix of like, should we rent like a place for like people to come and view the windows, etc. beforehand, and they really didn't. They were unsure. This was like regardless of me speaking to them or whatever. Yeah. They like told me about it, and I was like, "Oh my god, do it!" Like, and they were like, "Why?" And then, so I explained the benefit from the SEO side of things. Yeah. And I think they were going to do it anyway, but that made them like, "Holy shit! Like, we need to do this." So yeah, they got approved yesterday, and already the rankings for them have increased in that specific area. So yeah, I mean, if you can do it, I would. There's a lot. I mean, this is the thing with Google. I don't really get why Google cracks down on businesses that service area to start with, and then they try to add an address because they get you to verify. And then like we've seen electricians that will have an address, but obviously you don't go to an electrician's home to go and see, can I have a, can you go and do my socket or whatever? You're going to ring them up. You're never going to go to the house, but they have addresses. So it's I don't know. It's kind of unfair with Google a lot of the time. You kind of have
it's
to.
so inconsistent.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating from the marketer's perspective. The businesses we're talking to, they just want consistency. That's all. Yeah. They literally just want consistency. They want to say, hey, here's the rules, play by it, or here's whatever. And the thing is with Google, like there's so much inconsistency. You got people still verifying their Google business profile without a verification video. You got some people that can't do it without a video. You got some people that are doing it, over
some of the
still. It's crazy.
Some of the names I've seen that are actually live Google business profiles is like insane. It will say like carpet cleaner, Kent, London, Birmingham, Wolverhampton. Like, I don't know if you know where those places are, but they're a long way away from each other. So yeah, it's a bit mad.
Yeah, well, and it's like, and I get it though. It's just the way it's going to be, because until Google like really, it's just like anything. Like you can say something's a rule, but if you let people do it and you can visibly see hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of people doing it, people are still going to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. It's a bit. It is kind of odd, but I think people think, if you can't beat them, sort of join them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't advise to do that, but.
Yeah. Walk us through kind of, okay, we're getting the ads going. We've got the process dialed, sales calls, etc. Yep. Walk us through what's the next couple plans for Recur? I mean, where do you want to be at this time next year?
Plans? Just because we haven't gone too crazy on ads yet, we've seen that it works. I've spent quite a bit of money. But, since this sort of break I've had in America, now that I'm back, we're going to go pretty heavy on the ads. I've spent like a lot of money on ads over the past like however many years. So it's something that I'm quite well accustomed to. I wouldn't recommend doing that if you are just starting out. You're going to feel like you've got burnt, but it's just the experience thing. But yeah, for me, it's just about plowing money into ads. We've seen a really good return on that. I'm unsure what the actual lifetime value is of our customer yet, but we haven't had one person cancel, and they've been through 2 terms so far since we sort of started. So yeah, it's just about pushing the ads more. Revenue wise, to be honest, bro, I don't even know. It kind of feels to me like we're at a point where like it's sort of all there to be taken basically. But it's a case of there's 2 things. It's making sure our close rate is really good, which is a whole different story, and obviously just putting the ad spend into it. If we can close at like a rate of 60 to 70%, that's really hard to do, obviously. Especially on like a high ticket close, 2-call close sort of thing. We're going to make a lot of money basically, and obviously make a lot of businesses a lot of money by getting them into the top 3. At the moment, I'm closing at like, I'd want to say like a 35%, which I'm still very happy with, considering I only really got into proper high ticket sales. I don't even know. I mean, it wasn't before this year, obviously. So I don't have the craziest amount of experience with it. And obviously there is some sort of bleed of the upsells and whatnot. They've got trust and they're not completely cold. But I've got a pretty decent conversion rate on cold. So it's just about getting that close rate up more to like 40, 50, 60% and just firing as much money in ads as possible and watching, trying to increase lifetime value, basically adding Google ads as an upsell, adding maybe website builds as an upsell, or, all that sort of stuff really. So, yeah. And then also moving to America. So,
okay. Yeah. Sick. Well, walk us through what is the, so right now you're doing the 2-call close. So that's basically like step 1, what's your process on call 1? And then what's the process on call 2?
Yeah. So process on call 1, I mean, we're only calling obviously people that have signed up via the ad. They've shown some level of intent. The ad is really angled around obviously the actual offer, top 3 in 90 days or you don't pay. So a lot of people, it's very easy for them to understand. You don't really need to educate them too much. So yeah, we've got, I don't know if you're familiar, I'm going to shout out some guy right now. He's absolutely, if you want to learn sales, this guy is an absolute goat. So I don't know if you've heard of Johnny Mao. I really hope I've pronounced his name right. But have you heard of Jeremy Minor?
Yes, I've heard of Jeremy Minor.
Yeah, Jeremy Minor. Johnny's one of Jeremy's like best students. I know there's a few. There's like I forget what the names are now. But Johnny is absolute top guy in terms of sales. Like, just go watch his Instagram, man. It's like it'll blow you away in terms of objection handling and pre-handling objections and just all that sort of stuff. So
I'm saying, like, what's your call 1 and call 2? But you're gonna have to send.
Yeah. So call 1 is obviously all about building a tiny bit of rapport there, understanding what sort of made them look into this in the first place, exploring their current situation, building a problem around that current situation, widening that gap of like how deep that problem is, and then booking them into an appointment. So the actual first call is not even a sales call, but it involves a lot of sales psychology.
Yeah.
Just to ensure they show up. Our show rate when we were running ads was like 85%, purely because we were building enough of a problem and an internal urgency in them to want to make sure to show up to that call.
Yeah.
So that's really helped us. And then, man, on the sales call side, it's like deep psychology, basically. I don't know if you're familiar with like sort of NLP. It's like neuro-linguistic programming for...
Yes, I have heard of this.
Yeah. So it's like, just go watch Johnny's stuff, man. If you want to get into sales, he's the absolute don.
Wow.
But yeah, a sales call, I could go through like an entire hour speaking about that, to be honest. There's a lot of different things that I remember when I used to do the review stuff and we used to run ads, and then we'd get to the objection and it would be like, oh, can I just go and think about it? I'm like, yeah, sure. No worries. Yeah. And then I just never hear from them again because it's like comfortable to do that.
Yeah.
But then through this, I've learned, like, for one, if you're getting an objection at the end, you haven't pre-handled the objection correctly in the middle of the call when you understand why they haven't invested or what they have invested in regard to your service before. Yeah. Or if you do get the objection, just how to handle it the correct way. And like, there's only 4 objections, well, essentially 5, kind of 5. Like, think about it: partner objection, time objection, money objection, and then fear. You've obviously got logistics, which are like, you can't really get around that. Maybe it's a payment plan or something like that. In terms of the objection handling, it feels very easy for me to do it now in comparison to when it was before. It was like, oh, it's too much. I try and justify like, no, it's not too much, and and now it's like, man, it's just like you question them to verbalize the answers you would have said initially, but they're answering it instead, so they trust what's happening a lot more. It's very like, I want to say it's manipulative because it is, but it's manipulative in a good way because you're selling them on something that you know is going to get their business really good results. They're going to be happy, and you don't want their internal limiting beliefs to stop them from progressing forward.
100%.
So it's a lot of like psychology stuff. So
well, and that's the thing that somebody listening to this that might just be getting started is listening to this and it's like, that's manipulation, that's rude, that's whatever. But I truly, and my wife has just seen this because she started with Review Harvest, like, I truly don't think you'll really grasp it and have that conviction to do that until you have a difficult sales call or you have somebody that wants to or whatever, and then they do sign up, and then you get them crazy results, and then they rave about you, and their business changes, and they make more money, and they hire the customer. They hire the new employee, or whatever they needed. Like, when that happens, you're like, this is why we do it. Like, this is not rude. I am trying to be, if you don't believe what you're selling, then it is manipulation, and
that's what I said to my rep the other day. I was like, man, if this got into the wrong hands, this is like, if they learn how to do that, then you're selling on like an offer doesn't get them really good results, then that's the worst. But if you genuinely believe and you can see that you get lots of different clients, amazing results, that conviction will come naturally through the call anyway, because you're trying to do it for them. Like, you're focusing on the value rather than just trying to make money. The people trying to make money, and that's what they focus on, don't earn money. The ones that earn, focus on providing the actual value, that's where the money naturally comes to you, because it's like, earning money is just a transfer of value anyway. So it's like, if you can increase that value, it's all that sort of stuff.
What about the industries that you're working with right now? Are you working with still a lot of dentists, or obviously you upsold people, but what industries are you working with that you find? Are there certain industries that you're killing it with right now?
To be honest, when we sort of re-angled it more towards like the top 3 on Google Maps, we went broad again. And we're still broad right now because we do qualify quite heavily. Like, we only work with businesses now that are earning over 15K a month, just purely because, for one, a lot of businesses that are like making 5K a month, they're not really established enough to be able to easily get in the top 3 anyway. We could do it for them if they have the right sort of foundation, but it does make it harder for us. And it's also a harder sell. So I'd like rather work with people that have got more money, that are easier to rank, less of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But we're like still completely broad at the minute. Obviously, like, high income sort of industries like dentists and stuff, they're really good for us to work with, just purely because if we get you ranked in the top 3 and you're paying us 6K every 3 months, it's only 2K a month to them. We have to get them 2 Invisalign sales in 3 months. And that's what I have to explain to them. Sometimes it's like, okay, well, how much is an Invisalign case for you guys? And they're like, oh, it's 3,000. And then I say to them, okay, so, how many people are searching Invisalign in your area, do you think, or sort of around your area? They might say 100, maybe a month or whatever. So is it fair to say that you might at least get, one of them per month if you're in the top 3 on Google Maps? Stuff like that. You just to help them sort of take them along. They're more so the ones that are answering those questions though, rather than like me answering it for them, kind of doing that side of things. But for those sorts of businesses, being in the top 3, it's an absolute no-brainer. So just targeting more of those, really, we're trying to do.
Yeah. Okay. Love it. Well, no, this was really, really good. We will have the link to Recur link down below. I'll also link your social media and stuff. If anybody wants to.
I appreciate it.
Yes, send you a DM or give you a follow or whatever. But no, this was absolutely great. Stoked to have you on. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see what the next year entails. Now that I'm on this call and I'm like thinking about all the content I could make around this. It's like shiny object syndrome. It's just going off right now.
I feel it.
I'm glad to hear you're winning, and thanks for taking the time.
No, I appreciate it. Cause obviously, the review stuff was all down to your side anyway. So massive big ups to you, bro.
Yeah. Of course. Well, have a good one, and we'll have all the stuff linked down below, so make sure to check them out. See y'all.